Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Polov here, and today we're checking out this interview of Tina Arena on 50 Years of Fame. Let's check it out.
Our next guest is an Australian music icon. Tina Arena is marking 50 years in the spotlight with a landmark new documentary charting the highs and lows of fame and the personal stories that have remained untold until now.
50 years of fame.
Myself, do you want fame, money, success? But I didn't want any of that. I know what it's like to lose everything and to restart again.
This is so
Did it on
cool.
my terms.
Is this like a documentary?
Tina Arena Unravel Me features a mix of archival
doco.
footage and new interviews with Tina's sisters, her mentor, Johnny Young, and her industry peers. And Tina Arena joins us now in Melbourne. Good morning. Before we get into this extraordinary
Nice doggy.
documentary, all of us at Sunrise are so sorry for your loss. Johnny Young, of course,
Oh,
was one of the
no.
most important people in your life. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. It's been
Wow. Did she have to start with such a dark thing? Because it kind of breaks the mood. She was happy, smiling. She's like, yes, I'm happy to be here. First question, boom, straight to the gut.
a heavy few days. It's been a heavy few weeks. So I'm
Straight
okay.
to-
Thanks for asking that. But I guess
Straight to addressing the elephant in the room, I guess.
my real thoughts go out to Fleur and Anna and family, and Marisha, John's widow, who's a really beautiful woman and who nursed him till,
She's
these
such a great
last sort
person.
of few years. Yeah, he'll be missed, darling. He'll be really missed.
He's a massive part of this documentary. He actually says you were the greatest of all the kids he ever had on Young Talent Time. The idea
you're
of him
making her
being a part of this
cry.
documentary now, does that take on even more meaning for you?
It does, absolutely. It's the last interview that he did before his passing. So
Wow.
I feel very privileged that he left me that message. So it's something that I've got for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, we can hear
It's
it
tough.
and we can see.
Oh my gosh, why would you do that to her? That is so, you put her on the spot. Oh my gosh. I respect the interviewers, the journalists, but the first question, that's a punch to the gut. Wow. By the way, this video was requested by Aussie Deb. Let me read her request before we continue. I feel like it's going to give me more context of who he was. So Aussie Deb says, "Hi Paul, I thought you might like to see this interview with Tina Arena about her 50-year anniversary documentary to be released soon. We lost another Aussie music icon, Johnny Young, who is a 60s, 70s singer, musician, and he mentored Tina along with many other children during her time in the show Young Talent Time from 1971 to 1988. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers, Deb." Thank you so much, Deb. Yeah, so he was a TV presenter and icon. May he rest in peace. Remembering Johnny Young.
And our heart goes out to you.
Wow.
This is a wonderful documentary. There's so much incredible home footage in it. Your parents, your sisters.
Her dog can sense that she is upset, like she's about to cry. She's in the verge of tears, and the dog can sense it, and the dog is comforting her.
Wonderful documentary. There's so much incredible home footage in it. Your parents, your sisters, your family.
Dogs are angels.
We're learning all this stuff about you that we didn't know. What's it been like for you revisiting that?
She's
Look,
crying.
I'm not going to lie, it's not been a particularly easy journey, but I felt that it was a really necessary one now, because You know, other people's perceptions are all well and good, but you really need to hear from the person as to what they actually lived. And for me, the documentary was important that after
She's so
50
professional,
years,
isn't
people
she?
could actually hear, I guess, my story from my mouth as opposed to other people's interpretations of it. So it was an important exercise, and also just an important exercise of surviving 50 years as a woman in a very, very complicated industry, as people are starting to see. And also a child growing up in the public is a very bizarre place to be. And, you know, with the death of Hayden Panettiere, which really hits
Wow.
home for me
Yeah.
because I think that there's a lot that we need to do in that sort of space, and we need to learn from these sorts of things. And I just don't know how I've managed to survive so long, other than to say that I clearly have a very steely determination. I'm a woman. I'm somebody that truth really matters to me. I cannot stand what goes on and the concocted narratives. I just cannot
Wow.
stand it. It might suit other people. It doesn't suit me.
And
So
I love that she is very well versed, you know, very well informed, and I love the way she talks, her accent, her composure. She's very intellectual. I like that. And she mentioned Hayden, who, rest in peace also, who spoke out about the industry a few weeks ago, and now she turns up dead, you know. um you can see how that took a toll and how that affected Hayden, and it affects so many people. So it's very, very, as she said, a very complicated industry. It's a very delicate topic as well. And yeah, Hayden, she was great with in the show Heroes, and in the movie Remember the Titans as well. You know, such a great person, or personality. I don't know her as a person, but great personality, very talented actress. And you can see how that affected even Tina Arena, um, who saw herself in that could have been her, you know. And we see people like Justin Bieber, we see people, a lot of people like the Disney stars, you know, who grow up in the industry. So it's going to be a very interesting documentary. I thought these things only happened in Hollywood, in the USA, but apparently Australia also has a complicated entertainment industry, and I think that also applies to every other country. So that is a very interesting documentary, telling it through her perspective. And I feel like it's a great book, and it would be a great documentary as well to check out. So yeah, it makes, I don't know if she has written a book about it, but it makes a good book as well. Anyways, let's keep going.
I spoke about that this morning, actually, how open you are and how raw it is and transparent. I've got to ask you something, because there was some, I guess, shocking news out of this. You turned down a particular song, How Do I Live, which was, of course, a mega hit for Leanne Rimes. Any
You
regrets
turned
there?
it down?
absolutely not, Matt. Absolutely not. I don't have a skerrick of regret.
You know, it's insane that I was absolutely in love with the song because of the movie Con Air. And it wasn't even with Leanne Rimes. You know, this song has a very interesting story because it was recorded and released by Leanne Rimes, and it was also recorded and released by Trisha Yearwood, who got the spot for the movie Con Air. Trisha Yearwood, that's the voice I know for this song. And it's, wow, it's interesting that another person was in talks for it, Tina Arena. It's interesting because both of them, Leanne Rimes and Trisha Yearwood, actually launched the song in the same year. It's interesting. What if Tina Arena had done it as well? That's crazy. What a crazy revelation.
Absolutely not, Matt. Absolutely not. I don't have a skerrick of regret. I had an opportunity in America and I think my heart was very clear. I also was very aware that there was a big part of me that I would have to sacrifice. I know that's a dreadful word to use, but
It is a
I was just
sacrifice.
not prepared to do it. And I'm not somebody that you can pull the wool over. I'm pretty alert and I have a very strong sixth sense. So I just allow myself to be guided by that. That's what I do, but I have no regrets at all. I learned a lot from my time in America. I'm so grateful to the collaborations that I had and the experiences, but I did realize that it was not a place for me. It doesn't match my values as a person.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. The documentary also revisits a very difficult chapter in your life, your first marriage to Ralph Carr, almost 30 years after your divorce. He's been convicted of a horrific attack on a woman. His
Wow.
identity only recently...
What is going on? She's there to talk about her documentary. Okay, maybe this is part of the documentary, but they're coming with some knives here. I don't think she knew that this interview was going to be very, you know, that's insane. This is such a strong woman to keep her composure, to be professional, and to, answer the questions without being emotional and distraught with it. Crazy, amazing.
revealed after a suppression order was lifted. How
Yeah.
challenging has it been hearing his name in the media again?
Yeah, that's been tough. That's been tough. But like I've said, Nat, you will always reap what you sow. And so that part
Wow.
of my life is well and truly gone.
Wow.
I probably learnt some very fundamental lessons from that.
Shots were fired.
And for that, I'm grateful because I learnt in a very complex and difficult way, but I learned, and just my heart goes out to that young lady who was so incredibly strong to come out and say, you know what? This is it, It should be a wonderful lesson. Wonderful's not the right word. It should be a lesson that serves everybody, especially young women too, going through these kinds of things. It's really important that you find the strength to just come forward and speak, because that kind of behaviour is unacceptable. So all I've ever wanted and continue to want, just as a woman, first and foremost, is just that we feel good and that we feel supported to be able to do what we want to do, and that we are equals. And at the end of the day, that these kinds of things should not go on, but it also should serve as a lesson to the community at large. When you see these kinds of behaviours that are taking place, don't ever be frightened to go tap someone on the shoulder and go, look, that I'm very uncomfortable with the way in which you've approached that person. Doesn't sit well with me, so therefore I'm just pointing it out. I do have a tendency to do that because I'm brutally honest, and I have ostracised people, and you know what? I'm so comfortable with that.
Tina, your strength is palpable, and we're
She is a great personality. Listen, maybe she did know these questions were coming. That's why she prepared herself with that dog, because the way she is petting the dog and seeking comfort from him, you could see she has a smile on her face, but these are heavy topics. And she is kind of being very cordial, but at the same time she is speaking her mind and being very honest, brutally honest, as she put it. And it's amazing. What a great a very strong woman here with her answers. I love it. Dang, it's always nice to see the personality side of an artist, isn't it? That's why these interviews are so cool. That's really nice.
we can see that in the documentary, but we're also disappointed potentially to hear that at some point, to quote, the microphone will be hung up at some point. Say it ain't so. When do you think you'll
It's
give it away?
inevitable.
I'm not sure, Matt, but I will give it away at some point. You have to. I've got other things I want to do. I want to live a life. You know, there's whatever time I have left here, and every day is just a blessing for all of us, and it's something
She's been doing this since
that
she was a
we should
kid.
never ever take that for granted. But of course, I want to do other things. I spend time with my family. I'd like to travel. I'd like to creatively try other things too, because I have other interests as well.
Well, look, congratulations on this, because it's a wonderful insight into your life and very honest.
And a bye from Maya, who's the superstar.
Bye, Maya.
Bye, Maya.
Bye, Maya.
Thank you, Tina Arena. Tina Arena, Unravel Me opens in cinemas on August 27, with Tina attending special preview screenings in Sydney this Sunday. And her new covers EP, Way Out of the World, is out on October 16.
Wow. What I was gonna say diva, but some people use that in a negative form, so I don't know if you guys would like me to use that. But what a great personality. What a queen. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna put this on our wish list. Guys, we are going through the wish list. And hopefully we can add this there. The link will be in the description. The wish list is where you guys can go and choose what I react to next. It's normally for shows, documentaries, series, movies. So I will add it there because it's very intriguing. This interview really sparks an interest, right? Maybe I'm too curious. Maybe I want to get into the Australian gossip over here for the industry. No, but seriously, go check out since we're here promoting her stuff, go check out her documentary. And yeah, I will add it to the wish list. And thank you so much for this request, especially to Aussie Deb. I'll see you guys next time. Take care for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. Join us on Discord. Bye-bye. Take care.